Hi, I'm Elizabeth Campbell with Be Home Idaho at Keller Williams Realty Boise, and here's a relocation video number 2. If you didn't see number 1, go to my videos, like and subscribe to Be Home Idaho, and you can see that first one. This video will feature Boise's north end and part of the east end, a definement of those two areas, and then we may dip into also the Meridian area as well. Wanted to just tell you what the north end encompasses. It is from Military Reserve on the west side of it, all the way to 36th Street, and the prime north end encompasses State to Hill Road. Otherwise, it'll go all the way up into the foothills, as far as if you just draw a straight line from Military Reserve up and over. But there is what we call prime north end, and you'll see that on the map. Now the east end starts at Military Reserve and goes all the way to the Mesa. So we do consider the Mesa part of the east end, and there's foothills east as well. There is a prime east end, and it's basically on the flats. So anytime you see that elevation go up, you will cautiously then surround that, do a polygon if you're an agent, or if you're just looking, just know that as soon as we get into the hills in the east end, then the values do change a bit there. So the prime east end is Warm Springs all the way up to Foothills East, and then over just past the Mesa before it gets into Barber Valley and Harris Ranch. One of the idyllic things about the north end is what people call walkability. And in today's day, we say that's ambulability, like you can go anywhere in any vehicle, even if it's a wheelchair. So that's what's important about the north end. People love it because everything seems and appears to be so close. They like being close to trails. People like being close to shopping, groceries. They also like being close to restaurants. We have a cute little village called Hyde Park. You'll see a photograph there and some other photos. And Hyde Park is right on 13th Street in between the 14 and 1600 block. It's basically just 2 blocks, and it has restaurants and coffee shops and little knick-knack and doodad stores, a bike shop, as well as an ice cream store and a toy store. There, a lot of people congregate. They will go for morning coffee, and people usually will not get there by car. That's why people like it, because they don't have to get in their car to get there. It's that close to everything else. And if you watched my Harrison Boulevard video, it is also just 2 blocks from the Harrison Boulevard, and then you have 15th, 14th, and then 13th. So it is really in close proximity to some of the best real estate. And we do consider that any homes around that Hyde Park area, as long as it's not the busy hubbub, those tend to go for higher prices because of their rentability, their short-term rentalability, and again, you don't have to get into a car to do all the things that you need to do. The east end is a little bit nuanced. So starting at Military Reserve was an old military area where they did drills, and now it is a beautiful park that the city owns, and also backs up to some forestry land as well. So whether that's BLM or Boise National Forest. So it is a great area to hike in. You can see there are vistas. I have a few photos of those. And we hike Military Reserve usually weekly all throughout the year. In the winter, we are cautious about trail and saving the trails. So do want to make sure that if you are hiking in the winter, that it is on an approved trail, because you don't want to ruin those trails. The trails are there for not just hiking, but also cycling and for your pets. And so Military Reserve is very cool. It's just a wonderful way to get out and to just breathe the fresh air. And there are multiple trails, and you can go to the ridge2rivertrails.org and find the Military Reserve trails. There are many routes that you can take. There's some 1 mile, 2 mile, at 6 Mile, 8 Mile, so you can keep going. So it's really cool. So at the base of Military Reserve is Reserve Street, and Reserve leads you to the East End as well as Warm Springs. So between those two streets, it kind of pushes east. Warm Springs was the very first geothermal neighborhood. I'm going to do a specific video on Warm Springs alone, just so that you can see those beautiful historic homes. And a lot of the homes in the East End, just like the North End, are historic homes, and they are preserved as well. And in Warm Springs, oftentimes you will have, in the prime East End, you will have geothermal heat, and that is through radiation heat. So the radiator heat, rather. So that radiated heat is a very clean heat. It's considered clean energy because the energy comes from warm water, and then it heats your home. It keeps the homes at an ambient temperature at about 78 to 82, depending on how much water you put in and how many heaters you have. So radiators you have. It is really a cool way to heat a home. So if you are looking for homes in the East End, it's a much smaller area for the prime area. And if you want a historic home there, it's a much more shorter supply. We do expect that 2024 will have a short supply and a higher demand. As interest rates go down, then I think we'll have more, that pent-up demand will start hitting. And if you do want a home between now and May, I would definitely say like and subscribe, and then DM me or call me, and then we can set you up on a search and start showing you homes, because we do expect that this shortage of inventory that's already here will just get worse as soon as the interest rates go down. So the East End is one of my favorite areas because it's a little bit quieter. There are a few, there's a really cool store there called the Roosevelt Market. It's a historic location, great schools, and it is also very close to downtown. The entire East End goes all the way to Lucky Peak Reservoir, but that prime northeast is a specific pocket. So as soon as you get past that Barber Valley area, you have Harris Ranch and also southeast, and we'll do specific videos on those areas. I hope this helps give you an overview of the North End and the East End prime, and all the way through Warm Springs Mesa. And if you have questions, again, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and then give us a call. We are the Be Home Idaho team, as I've talked about before, and any one of us can help you. There are 4 of us. We're all licensed realtors. And if I'm not available, my daughter, Bridget Crawford, or my son can open doors and show you homes, as well as Campbell. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe, be happy, and be home, Idaho.